Hi folks, this is all the fruit. I'm in Heidelberg, Germany, in the area known as Handschuhsheimer Feld, or the field of Handschuhsheim. The suburb of Handschuhsheim is here, where you can see the high buildings, like sandwiched between the mountain and the flat areas or the fields. And for some reason, this field of Handschuhsheim has developed into the major fruit and veg production center in Heidelberg in the last couple decades. We have mostly small farms, small fruit and veg farms, because having animals or corn or something here for those small farms, it's not feasible. They don't have enough space for that. Between the small farms, we have a lot of small gardens, even some community gardens. And between them, we have some areas which have been landscaped by the city park department, usually with some fruit trees and shrubs, and with a lot of interesting, informative signs. This one is about production of vegetables. So now I'm planning to get on my bike and drive around here a little bit. This is one of the most interesting areas for fruit and veg production I know in Germany. It's one of the mildest ones, although you can find some which have a little bit more mild climate, but not much more mild. Because of this, because the farms are so small, and because most of their production goes to local consumers, you will hardly find any fruit or vegetables from Heidelberg in the big supermarket chains. Most is either being sold directly on the farms or sold to small local shops in Heidelberg, or sold to the university canteen or some posh company canteens around here. For all those reasons, people here are experimenting a lot with exotic fruit, vegetables, flowers and other stuff, pushing the zone a lot. There is lots of stuff that was pretty much impossible to grow in Germany a couple decades ago. And so just driving around here can be an eye-opener what you can grow in Germany nowadays. So now I'm gonna go get on my bike and just drive around and try to film at the same time and tell you a couple of the stuff I see here. This is a Mirabelle tree, a plum typical for Lorraine in France and also for southwestern Germany. Here's some black currant shrubs and some apple tree. All those were planted by the city on public land between the farms. Here to my right, some greenhouses belonging to a farm. Walnut tree, cherry trees. Here a big shrubbery of the Armenian bramble or Armenian blackberry, over 6 meters high at size. This is the only blackberry with such size. Here a huckleberry or blueberry plantation in pots because the soil is too alkaline, and in greenhouses in order to ensure an early harvest. Now, because it's warm enough, the plastic of the greenhouses has been removed. Let's see what we have here. Another cherry tree, another walnut tree. A kiwi berry plantation. This is also a very new thing. Privately grown single kiwi berry plants. I've seen them for decades, but very rare. But this is the first kiwi berry plantation I've ever seen. Oh, some dried up apples. Some small vegetable garden. Most probably those are not for sale. Vegetable and flower garden. Small pear tree. Small apple and pear trees. A big apricot tree in the background. Laurel cherry, mostly an ornamental, but with edible fruit. Cherry plum with green and bright purple foliage. Another Mirabelle plum. A mulberry tree. A fig tree behind it. Lots of peppers in greenhouses. Right now those peppers are even quite cheap. They are selling them for 3 to 4 euro in some of the farms, locally grown peppers. Artichokes, those haven't been harvested in time, so now they are blooming. cauliflower and some other cabbage, apples and cherries. Here we are again at the kiwi berry plantation, pumpkins. They are already in the shops, but most will be harvested around Halloween. Tomatoes, most greenhouses are stuffed with tomatoes this time of the year. Here are some willow hedges. Let's see what's in the next greenhouses. Oh, new strawberries, which will either be ripe in autumn or only next year, but the plants have been planted during the last couple days, so no fruit yet. Oh, another kiwi berry plantation. They are trying to hit it big with those. Here, a small stall where a farm is selling its produce, but this is one of the small ones. Some of those farms have giant supermarkets where they sell mostly their stuff, but also other stuff. Here, a lantern cherry variety which is not so edible. Peaches in greenhouses. I think they want really early peaches here. It's the first time I've seen anybody growing peaches in greenhouses, but okay. Oh, really nice big red peaches here in the background. The first tree has been harvested, but the second one, okay, this must be some really crazy variety. Brambles in greenhouses. Here they grow blackberries in a greenhouse, and it's not an experimental thing. Look at this greenhouse, it's enormous. Wow. So they're growing peaches and blackberries in greenhouses. Here they are growing tomatoes, cucumbers and beans in greenhouses, and also some ornamental amaranth. Those are Brussels sprouts, those teeny tiny cabbages. Here they have a huge raspberry plantation in a greenhouse and in pots, hundreds and hundreds of pots with raspberry plants. Despite the mild climate, a lot of stuff is easier to grow in greenhouses, obviously, especially when space is the biggest problem and not labor. The prices they can get from the rich Heidelberg people are so high, they can actually put a lot more labor into their production than in other parts of Germany. Here, another huckleberry or blueberry plantation, not under plastic, but under some net. Quinces. What is this? This is a gooseberry plantation in pots. Amazing. A strawberry plantation in pots in a greenhouse. Someone here likes his stuff in pots. Interesting. What is this dried up stuff here? Well, to the left strawberries, to the right raspberries, and all were in pots before they killed them. Interesting. Another walnut tree. Okay, sorry for all the shakiness, but I think with the bike I can be a little bit faster than if I walk. Here, an apricot tree and several peach trees. In big parts of Germany, those are quite hard to cultivate, but here it's quite easy. Pears, cherries, ornamental apples, and peaches. More cherries. More cherries. Another bramble plantation in pots. Amazing. And those are not experimental things. Those are for Heidelberg. Pretty big. Here, raspberries in pots and under net, and under netting or under plastic in some cases. Here, another gooseberry plantation, not doing so well in my opinion. Maybe they don't have enough water for them. A lot of them are complaining water is expensive, and even if they have free water, gas for the pumps is very expensive because they have to pump the water from the ground. Sunflower plantation, most probably they will sell them in the flower shops. I don't think they will make sunflower seed oil around here. For this, the plantation is too small. tomatoes. Yeah, like 80% of the greenhouses now are stuffed with tomatoes. Let's see what else we got here. Behind this shed, the kiwi plant. This time no kiwi berries, but a hairy kiwi. Okay, this is a honeymelon plantation. Grapes under plastic. Wow, great. So there was a vineyard under plastic. This is crazy. What type of grapes are they growing here under plastic? Let me go back. I want to see this. I mean, here in the foothills, there are lots of smaller and bigger vineyards. But here is a vineyard under plastic. Probably those are some dessert grapes. Because normally you don't do this. You don't have vineyards in greenhouses. Well, here, honeymelons in greenhouses. Raspberries in greenhouses. What else have we got here? More raspberries in the greenhouse. More raspberries. More raspberries. Here, this is red currant. Strawberries, this time grown outdoors. This is the normal way you grow strawberries in Germany. Cucumbers in greenhouses. Empty greenhouses. More strawberries in greenhouses. More strawberries, tomatoes. Yeah, most of the greenhouses are filled with tomatoes. Here, eggplants. This is some lettuce, which you probably cannot see. Peppers in greenhouses. More new young strawberry plants for next year. And even more. Here the feral Armenian bramble. More currant. Apples, blue plums, old man's beard, more ornamental sunflowers, although I don't think it's an ornamental variety, so from the big flowers you can actually get a lot of good seeds. Potatoes, here they don't have the giant potato plantations of other parts of Germany, but they have a couple for local sale. Here, kohlrabi and other cabbage varieties, and in the background different lettuce varieties. Then I don't think you can recognize the fruit trees behind that. Cherries and walnuts and some feral or wild elderberries. Let's see what is here. This is empty. Here's some old fruit orchard which has been converted into a pasture for horses. I hope they are still harvesting. Those are probably pears for making pear cider. Most of the old pear trees and with the apples you can eat even the varieties which were planted here for hundreds of years for cider. What with the pears, a cider pear is good for juice or cider or pear brandy, but not really for eating. Here's some barberries plant. Or cherry trees. Some huge currant, quinces, strawberries. Some red cherry plum and lots of strawberries, more walnuts, silverberry, more strawberries under plastic, those are already quite old plants, strawberries outdoors. Oh, let's see, over there are more fruit trees, pears and peaches. And cherries and plums in the background. grape wines, hazelnuts. Behind the grape wines, apples and cherries and pears. Another Mirabelle plum, yeah. This is the only part of Germany where you will find so many Mirabelle plums. And also a really big diversity of plums. Some pears. Hops, this is important for beer production, but this is wild or feral hops, so nobody will make beer from those plants. But there used to be hops production in a village nearby. Nowadays the hops production in the Heidelberg area is more or less dead, except for some museums and some small plantations which are just for show. So we don't make beer with our local hops anymore. Blueberries, again indoors and probably in pots. Cannot see. More blueberries. Here a young peach tree. Okay, you could not see those domestic blackberries. Leek, Juneberry, red currant, cabbage. Here again, raspberries in pots and under plastic, blackberries under plastic, even cherry trees under plastic over there. Look, a greenhouse with cherry trees, a greenhouse with apricot trees, and a greenhouse with plum trees. Wow, a greenhouse with blackberries. Here again, kiwi berries. Here some hard work on the farms, packing the produce. Yeah, here again, lots and lots of tomatoes in greenhouses. Those rich people who buy all the fruit and veg of the area, they also want to ride horses, so there are a couple little horse farms around here. Too late, I cannot show you the rhubarb plantation anymore. Rhubarb is a very popular German vegetable. Some more apples and peppers. Let's see what we have here. Pears, apricots and peaches. Another pumpkin plantation, timed so that they're gonna be ripe for Halloween. Those are some domestic blackberries. I'm just not sure which variety. Here another explanatory sign for the agriculture of the area. Here a flower farm, a celery farm or a celery field. Here some private gardens, blood hazel, elderberry, more elderberry, cherry plums, and some really round blue plums. This could be a blue plum or Reneclote, blue plum green gauge hybrid. What have we got here? Some grapes. Here we have zucchini, a zucchini field. Here we are getting into the suburb of Handschuhsheimer, and thus ending this video. This was just a small part of the diversity of fruits, vegetables and other stuff grown in the Handschuhsheimer Feld, which is right north of most of the Heidelberg University Research Institute. So if you're in Heidelberg and want to know where your fruit and veg comes from and what other rare and interesting stuff you can find there, just 2 or 3 hours of jogging or biking or hiking around this Handschuhsheimer Feld will show you maybe 5 times more different fruit and veg species and varieties than I could during this short video. Okay, folks, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the farms and gardens of Heidelberg. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.